Okay, so let's just dive right in. The date today.
Yeah.
It's Friday, February 13th, 2026.
And, the date feels a little on the nose, doesn't it?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I mean, given the absolute chaos we've seen in the markets for the last, 10 days, Friday the 13th feels almost scripted.
Brutal is maybe not even strong enough word for it. It's been more like a demolition.
A demolition. That's a good way to put it. We're talking about the SaaSpocalypse. It's the only thing anyone is talking about.
And for good reason.
Nearly $300 billion. I mean, billion with a B. Just gone. Wiped from software stocks. It's staggering.
It is. But our goal here isn't just to, stare at the wreckage. We need to understand the why.
Exactly. And to be clear, this isn't some standard market correction. It's not like one big company missed its earnings target or something.
No, this is a fundamental shift. It's like the laws of physics for the software industry just changed overnight.
And we've pulled together a whole stack of sources to get to the bottom of it. We've got market analysis. We have data from the winter 2026 YC cohort.
Which is always a good crystal ball.
Always. And some really dumb technical breakdowns. And they all point to these two main drivers.
Two drivers, vibe coding and AI agents.
I mean, if you'd said those phrases to me 2 years ago, I would have thought it was like buzzwords from a sci-fi novel.
Right. But they're very, very real. And they're the reason the whole subscription model, the thing we all pay for every single month, might actually be dead.
It's a huge claim.
It is, but the data seems to back it up. We're really moving from a world where software is something you buy to a world where it's something you conjure.
Okay, so let's rewind. Let's pinpoint the moment this all went off the rails. The sources all point to one day, 10 days ago, February 3rd, a Tuesday. What happened?
That was the day Anthropic dropped their new generation of AI agents.
Okay, but we've had agents before, right?
We've had things at marketing departments called agents. Yeah, but these were different. The reports use this phrase, autonomous mastery.
Autonomous mastery. That sounds heavy. What does that mean in practice? We're not just talking about it writing better emails, are we?
No, not at all. We are talking about complex, skilled labor. These things weren't just summarizing text. They were dissecting legal documents, running financial models, executing entire compliance protocols.
And the key word there is autonomous.
Exactly. No human in the loop. You'd give it a goal like audit these contracts for GDPR compliance and flag the risks, and it would just do it, the whole workflow.
That's the light bulb moment, isn't it? It's not a chatbot. It's a digital worker.
Right.
And the market reaction
Was immediate.
I'm looking at the numbers now. It's just a bloodbath. Snowflake tumbled 25%. Workday down 22%. ServiceNow lost 18%.
And these are the pillars of the SaaS world. These are the blue chips. For them to fall that hard, that fast, it's like a bank run.
And it wasn't just the Silicon Valley thing either. The sources really dig into the global impact, especially on the Indian IT sector. Why them?
Well, think about their whole business model, right? Companies like Infosys, TCS, the sources say they're hemorrhaging value. Their entire empire was built on labor arbitrage.
You mean hiring armies of human coders for less money?
Precisely. It was the geography game.
Yeah.
But that whole model gets outpaced by what the reports call silicon intellect.
You can't arbitrage against a cost of zero.
You can't. If an AI agent can do all that maintenance and back-end work for pennies, 247 with no coffee breaks, the model just falls apart.
Which brings us to the core realization investors had. And this is the scary part if you're a big software company. The death of the per-seat model.
This is the big one. For a decade, the model was simple. You hire a person, you pay a monthly subscription, a seat for them to use Salesforce, a seat for Slack.
It was basically a tax on having employees.
It was a toll booth, exactly.
Yep.
But if an AI agent can do all that work for, a fraction of a cent per token, why are you paying $50 a month for a software license?
You wouldn't. The math just stops working.
Yeah.
And that's the $300 billion realization right there. Investors looked at the future revenue streams and just saw zeros.
But that's only half the story.
Oh,
The AI agents, that's one pillar. We have to talk about the other one,
vibe coding.
vibe coding.
This is the part that I find just wild. It sounds like something a DJ does, not an engineer. So what? What is it exactly?
That's a great term. Andrej Karpathy coined it back in early 2025. And it's basically you surrender to the vibes.
Surrender to the vibes. That sounds more like meditation than computer science.
Kind of is. It means you're not writing rigid code anymore. You're not worrying about semicolons or closing your brackets. You just write prose. You describe what you want the software to do.
So instead of me sitting there debugging Python for 3 hours,
You're just talking to the computer. The source had this great example prompt. Craft a gradient-shaded analytics dashboard forecasting churn from Stripe data with a dark mode toggle.
And that's it. That's the whole instruction.
That's it.
Yeah.
And tools like Cursor, Bolt.new, they just build it. They spit out 95% of the code base instantly.
So you're not the bricklayer anymore. You're the architect.
Or director. You just iterate on the vibe. You don't debug the code. You just tell it, make it poppier, or give me a sidebar.
And the source says any little bugs or imperfections are just shrugged off as vibe essence.
Right. It's about speed and flow, not rigid perfection. And the adoption rates are just, they're staggering.
I saw that number. 95% of the winter 2026 YC cohort is vibe dominant.
And Gen Z devs prefer it 4-to-1. This is a real generational shift. The source material has this fantastic analogy for it, comparing it to music.
Yeah, the Gregorian chant versus jazz. Let's break that down.
So, traditional coding, that's your Gregorian chant. It's methodical, it's structured, every single note has to be perfect.
And if one monk sings the wrong note, the whole thing is ruined.
The whole thing falls apart. It's safe, it's predictable, but it's so slow. You spend all your time reading the sheet music.
And vibe coding
is jazz fusion.
Okay, paint that picture.
It's all about spontaneous riffs. You're improvising, it's messy, there's dissonance, but you're birthing hits. You can scale ideas exponentially faster because you're not worried about the sheet music. You're just playing.
But there's a catch with jazz. There's always a catch.
Always. Without a conductor, it lacks symphonic cohesion.
Right. A jazz trio in a club is one thing, but you can't have a whole orchestra just riffing. It would just be noise.
Exactly. And that tension is what we're seeing play out. But before we get to the downsides, this jazz is causing a massive economic shift.
The build versus buy inversion.
This is huge. The source describes the old SaaS world as a baroque cathedral.
The cathedral of specialized chapels. I love that.
And it's true, right? You have one app for your notes, another for chat, another for CRM, and you're constantly jumping between these separate chapels.
And they don't talk to each other.
Not really. It's inefficient. But vibe coding unleashes a digital reformation.
So instead of going to the big cathedral, everyone can just build their own little personal altar?
Pretty much, yeah. Companies are realizing they can build bespoke tools instantly. Why would I license a generic CRM for $50 a head?
When I can just prompt an agent to build me a custom one that does exactly what I need for pennies.
Exactly. McKinsey is projecting $500 billion in what they call liberated spend.
So that money doesn't just vanish, it just moves from licenses to, what, compute and tokens?
It shifts buckets completely. And it leads to this idea of shadow fleets.
Okay, shadow fleets, that sounds ominous.
It just means ephemeral, user-sovereign apps. Say you need to track RSVPs for one specific client dinner. In the old world, you'd try to jam it into a spreadsheet.
Or you'd ask IT, and they'd tell you it'll take 6 months.
Right, now you just prompt an agent. It assembles a little app for you. You use it for a week, and then it just dissolves.
Disposable software, like a paper plate. You use it once, and you're done because it costs nothing to make a new one.
It completely changes our relationship to our tools. You don't hoard them. You generate them on demand.
Okay, but that all sounds way too good to be true. There has to be a hangover from all this vibing. You can't just have an entire company playing jazz fusion all day.
Oh, there's absolutely a hangover. And the data from Get Clear, it paints a very clear picture. Speed is way up, but quality is taking a nosedive.
So the code is actually bad.
It's messy. Code churn has doubled. So people are writing and then immediately rewriting code because the AI didn't get the vibe right.
So lots of trial and error.
Tons. And worse, bugs are up 1.7x. And code duplication, just copying the same logic over and over, is up 4 times.
4 times? That sounds like a maintenance nightmare.
It's technical debt on an industrial scale. We're building faster, but we're building disposable junk. And this isn't just about messy code. It's a security nightmare.
I saw those stats. They're genuinely scary. The incident with the tool called Lovable.
Right. 170 apps built with it exposed PII, personally identifiable information, because the people prompting them weren't engineers. They didn't know about security protocols.
They just said, build me a customer list, and the AI left the front door wide open.
Exactly. And the Moltbook leak. 1.5 million API keys exposed. The reports say AI-generated code is 2.74x more vulnerability dense.
So what are companies doing? You can't just ban these tools.
No, but they're creating vibe quarantines.
Vibe quarantine?
Yeah, it's a digital health measure. Companies like 37 Signals, they're enforcing rules. AI code can be used for prototypes, but it has to be intensely audited before it touches any core systems.
You can't let the jazz band into the server room.
Not without a conductor. And this is creating a split in the job market, too. Novices are great at prototyping, the vibe. But you need senior engineers, architects to come in and clean up the mess.
The entry-level coder is a prompter, and the senior engineer is a janitor.
Or a security guard.
Yeah.
Or, to stick with the music analogy, an orchestrator. Someone who actually understands the structure of the music.
So, if the per-seat model is dying and the software anyone can build is full of holes, who survives this? Who are the winners and losers?
The report has a vulnerability gradient. Basically, who's safe and who's cooked.
Okay, let's start with who's cooked.
The most vulnerable are the generic productivity apps. Think Notion, Asana.
Why them specifically?
Because the reports say 70% of what they do can be duplicated with a simple prompt. Why pay for Asana when I can tell an AI, build me a custom task tracker for my team?
That feels existential. What about marketing tools?
Jasper, tools like that.
They're being self-cannibalized by the free LLMs.
Hmm.
If the base model can write your copy for free, you don't need to pay for a wrapper on top of it. The wrapper is melting away, so who survives? Who is a bunker?
The survivors are in what's called vertical SaaS, companies with compliance modes.
Compliance mode, so
Like Rippling or Stripe. They handle payroll, taxes, banking, all highly regulated.
Yeah.
You cannot just vibe your way into compliance with federal tax law.
laughs. Hey, AI, just vibe me a tax return. The IRS would love that.
Exactly. The value there isn't the code, it's the trust. It's the liability shield. These are fortified domains.
And the plumbing, I assume, the infrastructure companies?
Oh, yeah. Gracell, Twilio, in a gold rush, sell shovels. In a vibe rush, sell the plumbing that hosts all these disposable apps.
So for the companies that do survive, the business model still has to change, right?
Yeah.
If they can't charge per seat, what's the move?
It's shifting to outcome-based pricing. You don't charge for access to the tool, you charge a percentage of the value it creates.
So instead of $100 a month, it's say 10% of the money the tools save my company.
Precisely. It aligns the incentives.
Mm.
You pay for the work done, not the privilege of logging in. Per-seat revenue is projected to be down 90% in these new models.
It's a total inversion of the last 20 years of software. It shifts all the risk from the buyer to the seller.
It does. And it brings us right back to that first idea. We are moving from renting to conjuring.
It's just wild. The barrier to entry used to be millions of dollars, a huge team of engineers. Now it's cent-scale prompts.
Which changes everything. If a kid in their bedroom can conjure a competitor to a billion-dollar company over a weekend,
Yeah,
the game is completely different.
it really is. You know, there was one last thought in the source material that was almost spiritual.
I think I know the one you mean. It stood out to me too.
It's about the nature of the code itself.
Yeah. The source says code is cascading into consciousness.
And software stirs sentient. I mean, that gave me chills. It's like the opening line of a movie.
Because it implies our role is changing. We're not the writers anymore. We are becoming orchestration oracles.
Orchestration oracles.
We're guiding this intelligence. We set the vision, and it does the building. We're the architects of the dream, not the builders of the wall.
That's terrifying and also incredibly exciting. It's the moment software stops being a tool, like a hammer, and starts becoming a collaborator.
And that leads to the biggest question for everyone listening. If the cost to build is zero, if the only barrier is your imagination,
What are you going to build?
that's the question. The playground is open. The tools are infinite.
Wow. That is a lot to think about. I think I need to go have a talk with my computer. Thanks for breaking all this down. It really is a brave new world.
It certainly is. Keep your plum sharp.
We will see you on the next deep dive.